And we are live.
What the buck is up, every pony?
I wasn't sure. I was like, is he gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? Hello.
All right.
Medic!
Well,
Right. It's good to be
I-
back. It's been a while for me.
hmm
yes, yeah, because we had some time off, and I had some time off, and so it has been a little bit.
And then a con happened.
Yeah, but we're here now, and much planning was had last session, and some interesting relevation. What's the word? I know. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but a lot of realizations of things that could slot together for yourselves. You learned some extra stuff from the last born, and Alex and Burnt used their one brain cells together and started putting up a plan. Metal Banana decided that school wasn't for her and joined the janitor staff.
No, no. School was definitely for her. She does like she did it to get more information underneath.
Wow. You're now a working horse and off scrubbing the sewer lines.
Well, technically, like Sonic them off. You
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, you're using sound waves to clean the pipes. At least you're not on your down on your hoofs scrubbing it.
Yeah, using your own toothbrush.
Yeah.
I did that in like real life at work, and it's freaking disgusting.
That made you bring in your toothbrush?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Wait,
Oh,
no, no. They gave me a blush to do it. That's funny though.
I mean, that's what basically made it sound like. But anywho, a bit of time has passed. I believe you guys have had 2 more recycles of the computer shutting down.
hmm
I have a feeling, because obviously you're kind of worried about discussing things out in the open. You kind of want to try and get probably some of the other people that you need to bring in onto the plan, on the plan in some way. That's probably your best bet at the moment, I have a feeling.
Yeah. That's why Alexandrite learned the way of getting those messages to delete themselves after someone reads them.
So I'm gonna guess the next time you know that there's going to be a, the city is going offline, you're going to invite a few people to join you in the clubhouse.
hmm
Now, is there anything you lot as a group will want to do prior to the next city maintenance cycle?
So up to this point, Mythosol has not gone to any of the secret meetings. He's been trying to keep as low profile as possible to convince City that he's diligent and studious.
Yeah.
So he has no knowledge of the plans that y'all have been putting together.
Yes.
Yeah. You have been studying quite diligently with Swift Gadget, who's basically spent the down period with you. You do find out that she's actually on a different cycle, so this would normally be her sleep time, and she's reversed her relaxation with her sleep time so she can actually stay and study or help you study.
Mythosol is grateful for that.
Though the first, until she switched it, it was a difficult study session or two until she adjusted. But other than that, you have been finding it very difficult. Swift Gadget kind of definitely started at a level which you weren't familiar with, and she definitely had to bring it down a few notches. She's not. She's giving it to you basically how she kind of learned things, and it's not like the full picture. There's definitely missing pieces to it, but it's the sort of thing that, in a sense, you're jury rigging it all if you go into anything, because that's kind of how she learned it. She can jury rig it. That's kind of the knowledge you're given, mixed in a little bit with the books you've got, but again, they're quite advanced, so she's kind of, rejigging it a little. It's kind of where your learning is at the moment, as she's trying to probably cram a few years of learning into a short space of time. So you don't learn to crawl first, you go straight into running. Or attempt to, anyway. But yeah, that's what obviously Milk Thistle's been up to. You haven't really interacted with much other people. You've kind of just stayed within your little group. So I'll throw it to you guys. If there's nothing major, we'll probably go to, it's like going to be the next downtime for City and get you guys to organise things.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any major things people want to do?
I think probably first of all, probably getting everyone else on the plan would probably be one of the major things we should do.
How will you do that covertly?
Covertly, well, we can use these video tablets for like making kind of movies and such, right? Like just
Yep.
record messages and such.
I will point out the obvious is clearly it's linked to the city as a whole, so there is a possibility the city will know of anything you put on your tablet and send anywhere.
Okay, but if I don't send it, would the city?
It depends if the city's spying on your tablet.
See, now you're just getting to my personal like government biases, and we're like, okay, well, the city's always watching now. But
I mean, I'm just putting those little things out there to add to paranoia.
yeah.
Communist Russia right there.
Yeah, well, hopefully, city.
For your own good.
Yeah. Hopefully, city doesn't know about my homemade porn movies.
You just actually like save that for your wife. Honey, I got some present. It's like The Simpsons.
But yeah, no, Alexandrite will. Yeah, I guess. Do we have like a kind of I guess projector or something in the secret base here, or something that like a VCR or something like that? Just something to kind of play a message, if
What? 2 people, or from inside your little clubhouse?
Okay. I'm just thinking like, I was part of my thought was like, oh, I could just leave my tablet, but I'm just like, oh yeah, you're supposed to have them on us at all time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You do know once you're inside the clubhouse that you are in whatever they called a Faraday cage, and that blocks the city from seeing anything.
Yeah.
So anything you did when in there and you deleted it before leaving, then you know that's definitely safe.
All right. So I forget what's the penalty for losing or having your tablet damaged. Can you just get that replaced, or?
I don't think you've ever inquired that. Your
Yeah,
assumption
all right.
is your threat level will probably increase, depending on how it was
Okay.
damaged.
Yeah.
Because if you suddenly come up and go, "Oh, look, it's smashed," and they go, "Oh, did that happen?" I don't know. I
I
sense
mean,
threat
I
level
don't
increase.
actually want to damage my thing, but I could misplace it and try to get a new one in, and have two. One I can just leave messages on. That's kind of my thought process here.
Yeah. Well, you can attempt that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'll acquire on that first, so I don't, hit that 10 point and then my heart stops.
Yeah.
So yeah, Alexandrite will inquire about what would happen if someone were to lose their tablet. Can they get it replaced, or?
There's a few moments, and the computer goes, "No one has misplaced it, as there are things in place to help you find it again. Simply ask, City, where is my tablet? Your tablet will begin to emit a noise at a increasing higher pitch values until it is found. Once it has been found, if it is not by yourself but another individual, it will proceed to indicate the owner of the lost tablet, and they are to return it to you."
And what if it cannot be found?
That has never happened.
Oh, it's like part of me is like, oh boy, time to throw wrenches into the city again. Well, thank you, city. All right. City, what's my threat level right now?
What was it last time? You scared everybody, so we went back up to 8. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're still on 8 at the moment.
Okay. So I think it's above 10 that I'm a threat and need to be re-educated, right?
It is once you reach 10.
Okay. Well, risking it for the biscuit here, but I'm going to leave my tablet in the base, and once I'm out, I'm going to go, City, I've lost my tablet.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a plan for the future.
Yeah.
Any plans now before we sort of switch over to the next?
Oh yeah,
potential meeting?
that's right. Sorry. The reason for the setup was so I can actually tell the others about the plan. So
Yeah.
I will leave a kind of video message explaining the plan on my tablet
Okay.
before I lose it, quote unquote.
I mean, you could all just go to the clubhouse and tell them in person.
Well, yeah, but people go to the clubhouse at different times because we have different schedules also.
Ah.
This is for the NPCs that don't come to the clubhouse at the same time as us.
I see. I got you.
Yes.
It seems that the time that shuts off actually only so far has lined up with your shift.
Okay.
And it's only lined up with your shift because you go to school and you actually leave early. That's why you can go in. So anyone who's currently in school could make it, or if it happens to be during the downtime, or their sleeping time and they get woken up to go to it. Most of your group are in school, given that you're still newbies. So everyone's going to be
okay. I thought some of the others didn't have the same schedule as us. So.
Yeah, so you're either they're all going to be schooled in, sleeping, or resting, in a sense. So you getting them to come along, it won't be too difficult. You probably want to not like bring the entire group because that might be a bit
Alright.
too noticeable.
Okay, then scratch all that. I'm probably just going to let them know the plan, like little bits at a time, with who I bring in with us for the.
Yeah. All right. So who are you going to covertly bring with you initially?
I think Swift Gadget and Steel probably would be the ones to first be alerted to the plan, since
You're probably going to
they
need
are
them
key players.
quite dramatic, quite importantly. Fair enough.
Yeah. Trying to remember all the NPCs we have with us now.
You have Clashing Dawn. You have Burnt's dad. You have Katarina, but I think he's been there.
Yeah, Katarina probably knows all the plans, so.
You have all of the NPC fighters. Was there anybody else on the ship? Oh, no, it's you
I
guys.
think that was it.
No, you didn't take the crew with you. Thunderclap.
Thunderclap, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do Steel and Swift Gadget first, then Clash and Dawn,
We'll worry about
and
the first one.
Burns' father, and
Yeah, we'll worry about the first one because that's going to be the sort of more critical one at the moment. All right.
yeah.
Anything else from anybody who's not spoken yet? Milk or Burn? Milk or Metal Banana?
Got nothing.
Nope. You.
I'm sorry. What was asked?
Was there anything you wanted to do between going into the secret meeting?
Has Milk Thistle been officially invited to the secret meeting?
I'm assuming you will be invited.
All right. If we're going to assume, okay, Milk Thistle will, I guess, just bring his study material with him.
Fair enough.
Swift Gadget is coming along as well, though she's not necessarily bringing her study material.
I like to imagine it's not that you're coming to the secret meeting, it's that Swift Gadget's coming to them, so you're coming as well to study.
You're invited by proxy.
All right.
All right, so, because you're in school, you guys all sort of meet up from school and obviously head there, minus Metal Banana as she's stuck in work. But I mean, she said some useful stuff in regards to the underground parts of the city and some of the equipment she's worked with. Steel and Swift Gadget will accompany you.
All right.
You know the meeting place fairly well, and you do have the Ruminant who will be there as well. Minus, or let me check the names again. Minus Bramble, who obviously, as you know, works in the power plant and normally shows up later on. Steel will probably be the first one who will speak and goes, so what's all the attempts at Cloak and Dagger?
Well, we've actually started to come up with a plan of escape.
I assume it's
So soon.
I'm guessing recapture the ship or a ship.
Well, That's the plan B if our first method doesn't work.
And plan A?
Plan A is to build a bigger teleporter, basically. Any gestures to the teleporter that they have?
He looks at the weird contraption you gesture towards and goes, okay. I mean, I know they've got some weird ass stuff here, but that looks like it's held together by hopes and dreams.
Yes, that's why we need to go to the out of character. I forget what it's called. The
Manufactorium.
manufactorium. Yeah,
You
yes,
mean the fabricator manufacturing?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm assuming this is a place you just can't just stroll into and ask to get into it.
No, exactly. We've come up with a way of at least scouting the area out, but once we start this plan, City's going to be aware of us, so our time will be limited. So we'll probably only have a chance to do one or two things with it before we're overrun by the guards.
All right. And so you somehow get into the manufactorium, make a better teleporter, and then teleport our slots as he gestures around to who's currently in this room out of here.
Yes.
What about the rest?
Hopefully, by the time the plan's ready, we'll have everyone in on board of this. But we've also come up with a way to get our equipment back.
That I'm interested in hearing.
Yes. He'll pull out the tracker device that he has. With this, I can track the location of this little beeping light here on my tablet. And, well, you remember those gates that took away all our equipment?
Yeah.
Well, my plan is to walk through one of those with this and have it go where our equipment would be. So we at least know where it is.
It still looks somewhat surprised and goes, oh. It seems that you do have some smarts to you, Alex. I was wondering. I do have some flaws, though. Are you planning to get all of the crew together in an attempt to teleport all us out in one go?
That is the idea. Once the alert's been activated, I don't think we'll have a second chance at this.
I would agree.
So it's an all or nothing plan.
It's highly likely that the city will probably eliminate any outsiders given what we are attempting.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, all or nothing.
May I offer a counterplay? Instead of putting all of our eggs into one basket.
Very well.
You have a Group A and a Group B. Group A goes to the manufactorium, which possibly will be more heavily guarded. Group B goes to the ships. You get Group B to attack first. They draw away some of the resistance, probably from the manufactorium, and then Group A attacks the manufactorium. I'll buy them a little bit extra time, and maybe will be less resistance. And then once Group A are in, the city, depending on what it sees more vital, may split its resources if it needs to split its resources.
That is a good plan, though.
That way, if
who would you have
another group succeeds,
that is a good plan. But who would you have as Group A and Group B? Obviously, we need someone who can control the manufactorium in the area.
Well, I would
I would
say.
suggest Swift Gadget be on.
Well, I would say Swift Gadget, Clashing Dawn, and the soldiers will take the ships, and the rest of us will go for the manufactorium.
Yes.
Because you would need Swift Gadget to fly the ship, as that's
And
a
we would
valuable
need
resource to have once we get back into the in the material plane.
And with the manufactorium, we could reforge the heart, maybe purify it.
Do you know how?
Well, not offhand, but if we have someone who at least understands part of it, we might be able to go through the. We might be able to wing it, basically.
And I'm guessing that's why he then gestured towards Swift Gadget. She's here then.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're putting far too much chance into these plans, Alexander. Is there no more clarity in how all of this will be accomplished? You seem to be willing to sacrifice half of those who are putting their lives on the line for this effort.
We actually do have planned to
I'm afraid, Banana, you're at
use-
work. You couldn't make the meeting.
Yes.
son of a never mind then.
It is a risk, but it is better to go out like this than stay here for who knows how many years trying to learn all this technology that we might not have a world to return to once we do figure out how to work the manufactorium.
I understand, but I've been learning quickly, thanks to Swift Gadget and the near open access of information that he's providing us. There's a lot more going on here than simply our means of escape. Have you forgotten the goblins? And that Elder Longhorn is here, and if he were to activate them, we could take full control of the army. Has there been any speculation on how to retrieve the goggles and have them activated with Elder Grey Longhorn? If we could control the army, then anything City would send against us would be counteracted.
And how do you plan to get the goggles and do all this plan?
I do not know. If it were possible to meet with Elder Grey Longhorn again, we could ask him to look over the goblins. If he were to put them on and activate them, and then put them back into storage, we could retrieve them. You do have plans to retrieve gear from the place where everything was stored, don't you?
I do. But yeah, I would rather not rely on the maybes if a person who's doesn't trust us to want to play into our who's.
Doesn't the goggles only help us while we're in the city? Once we leave, then the purpose you speak of is a little bit more redundant.
Exactly.
There's still ruminant technology out in the material plane where we are going. Some of these automatons that are here in the city still exist on the material plane.
That's true. But
Not only that, the goggles have helped us analyze other things before. In fact, the nature of the heart of Everglow itself is locked away behind Elder Grey Longhorn's voice. Once he unlocks it, we can understand the true nature of the heart of Everglow.
Well, as much as valuable intel will help, how long will we be willing to put, or how long will we be willing to wait to us to be able to gain that intel?
Exactly. I do not plan to come back to my home and find that Lightning died of old age, if she's even would be still alive.
I have a feeling the
I
stone will
agree.
probably eat
Go
everything
ahead.
before then.
I agree we mustn't stay here indefinitely. But we need to make sure we have a solid plan in place, because if we go out there recklessly, we are more likely to fail.
Sometimes the reckless action is the best action.
Sometimes, yes, but not this time. We need to make sure we can get back. If we throw ourselves at the manufactorum while splitting our resources here, having the full brunt of city's power and the automatons coming down on top of us, we are most likely to fail. I do not see how we would be able to extract what we need from the manufactorum with the little information and understanding that we do have, and still manage to escape.
Well, we have blueprints to a teleporter, like I said. We just need to hold off for a little bit to get the things we need built.
And we need to purify the heart. That is what I have been studying for the fabricator for, to see if the actual God's anvil can purify the heart of Everglow, so that we can restore him to what he once was. We need to restore balance on the material plane, not just escape this place. This is our best opportunity to save everyone.
Yes, that's why purifying the heart was the first thing we should do with the manufactorum. The teleporter would be the second.
And there's also the matter of the divination block on this place. I have felt as though half of my soul has been torn from me since coming here.
It's highly
I believe it's important.
Carry on.
I believe it's important we find out what's causing it, and if so, destroy it.
I think that will probably be spreading our resources even thinner, as that's probably also going to be guarded well, similar to the manufactorium or the landing bays. We probably at best could achieve one objective, maybe two at push, which is why I recommended a second team for the landing bays.
Yeah, a third operation at the amount of time that we would have would definitely be too risky, in my opinion.
Well, my best guess is you'll be able to infiltrate where our equipment is. The moment that's done, that will raise the alarm, and that'll be the point where you could probably split two teams off, one to create a diversion, where majority of the resources are diverted. It could possibly be a suicide mission, depending if the city comes down with full force, where the true attack then takes place, which will be on the manufactorium. I don't know if we would be able to divert, unless we're lucky and they're both in the manufactorium, then it's doable.
Are the automatons offline when city is offline?
No.
The ruminant will indicate no. I mean, they still operate. I mean, we've not really checked to see how operational they are, but they seem to still behave the same. There's they can act independently and do have independence.
And I've been watching their cycles. They don't seem to have any points that I've seen where they go in for maintenance or anything like that.
Oh, one of them speaks up. Oh, they do have maintenance. It's just
Oh.
when one's in for maintenance, another one leaves, so there's no downtime. There's always a replacement, and they have reserves. So if one or two break down when they're not supposed to, or not scheduled for maintenance, there are additional ones to replace those that are on activation. I don't know how many reserves there are.
For the goggles, the lock that was on it, did it need to be unlocked by Elder Grey Longhorn's voice directly, or would a recording of his voice be enough?
You're uncertain, though you at best guess believe that a recording of his voice given authorization to unlock it would probably do it. But you would need him to say certain words and then work out how to splice them together.
Was there was there a certain phrase he needed to speak, or was it just his voice alone that would unlock it?
It was his voice and indicating to unlock that particular information. So if he says, "I'm like, I am Elder Longhorn, and I give my authorization to unlock this file," that type of thing, or something to those terms. That was what the goggles indicated.
On the tablets, do we have access to recordings of Elder Longhorn, like addressing his people, state speeches, things like that?
No, there's nothing like that.
Are there any recordings of Elder Longhorn's voice at all on the tablets?
No, not recordings.
Really?
No.
What kind of leader doesn't speak to his people? That's ridiculous.
Well, one who has the computer who does everything for them, I guess.
All right. The library then. I understand we have the vast majority of information on the tablets, but the library itself might have recordings.
The library is basically in your tablets because it's all on the cloud. You can get written text of transcribes of what he said and what he did, but it appears that once the city became automated, he's mostly refrained from like public speaking and being out in public. The city tends to communicate most of if anything he has to say, which has been very sparse. The city seems to be the primary ruler at the moment.
I like your thought, Milk Thistle, but perhaps you could set up a private meeting with Elder Longhorn and for, I don't know, tea something, and then sneakily record him saying what we need him to say, and we can mixtape it. Am I using that word right? Mixtape?
I've never heard of that word before.
But splice together, I think is what you mean. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Swift gives a nod. Yeah, you want to use the word splice.
Yeah, splice. Okay.
Yeah, if we could gain access to the storage area where the goggles are kept, and have a recording of Elder Longhorn's voice saying what we needed him to say, we could gain control over the automatons. And that would remove their threat altogether. In fact, we could use them to aid us in this.
Swift Gadget goes, do we know that the goggles will override the city?
No. But we can use the goggles while city is offline and have control of the automatons then. The energy cells need to be replaced as they recharge. If we can find out where those energy cells are, we could indefinitely keep City offline while we control the automatons, giving us more time to use the fabricator.
At that point, Bramble comes into the clubhouse, and he will go, What's that about the energy cells?"
I don't know any of you. Is everyone here trustworthy? Do none of you roll and speak? Are you all trustworthy? Do you know this one?
They sort of because they've not seen you before. A lot of them all shy back from you, but Bramble will go, "Well, we trusted you, showing you this place."
But do you share our goals? We intend to escape this place.
Well, I mean,
Alexander will say, they've been helping us so far.
we're not.
If you came to one of these meetings, you would have known that.
I mean, we'll help, but I mean, this is our home. We don't really want to leave. I mean, others have, but obviously they've gone. We're the ones who kind of still want to stay, but we can understand your want to go home. And if you don't want to be here, then, well, it's wrong to keep you here.
Yes, I was referring to the energy cells, those that are used to recharge, and while they are being reset, City is offline. Do you know where the energy cells are that are swapped out?
Doesn't quite work that way, but yes. I mean, the energy cells power the entire city, not just City herself. The maintenance cycle is more to do with her self-diagnostics, so it hasn't really got anything to do with the main power core. The main power core controls, well, the entire city. There's 3 cores. One is always in reserve, one is being used, one is being charged, and they rotate round. So there's always at least one backup in case something goes wrong with one of the cores.
So even if we messed around with that, it wouldn't matter.
I mean, if you took out the core, then, well, everything would stop working.
Could
And
it be?
Oh, sorry.
Could it be reactivated?
Maybe. We've never shut it down. I mean, I'm not part of that side of things. I mean, I would have thought there'd be a reactivation sequence, but I mean, I wouldn't know how you would even try to shut down the core or want to, because I mean, there is solid ground below us, so if the city's power goes offline, we might fall and hit the ground.
Yeah, I don't think that's a option then.
I mean, I don't know if there's anything in place to stop that happening, but I mean, I wouldn't help you if you tried to do anything that would hurt people who lived here.
I think we should focus more on the things we need. Purifying the heart and getting out of here. If you want to have the goggles be a bonus, then go for that, but I don't think that should be our priority.
The goggles are meant to aid us in our escape. They're not a goal unto themselves.
Still goes well. We should come up with a plan where we can utilise them and a plan where we can't. As we shouldn't put all our eggs in one basket, as I said before.
Yes. If you can get the goggles and get a recording of Elder Grey Kettle, then we'll use that plan. But if not, we should probably stick with the ones that we have so far. Speaking of, we also have a way of making it so the city won't be able to turn off our hearts. There's a bit of a risk to it, but I think it's better than. I think the chance is better than it happening at the worst time for us.
Bramble
That would
goes.
certainly be beneficial.
Yeah, with Sweetbush's help, and we should be able to reprogram them to, well, reset them in a sense.
We should probably do that one first, since if it works, then the city won't know about it happening, and that'll be an ace up our sleeve. And if it doesn't, we can have enough people know about it to not affect anything, or at least make it so we can come up with a new plan.
Still speaking of goes. So obviously you have your meetings here because you want to keep things secret. You probably need to come up with a way so you can discuss things outside of this place. I mean, how often can you meet up here?
I can send messages that delete themselves now, but that's not really great for given entire conversations like this. It's more of a one and done.
Have any of you ever dealt with or worked in espionage?
Yes.
No.
Well, then at least Milkfist will maybe be familiar with a way of talking about things, but not talking about what you're actually talking about. So we're planning a dinner party. We have dessert, which is the heart, and we have obviously the dinner party itself, whose apartment or whatever we will be meeting up at, which will be, or gathering point, will be wherever our equipment's stored, and then we have, where we plan to end our evening, either at
The lounge. The lounge where we plan to end our evening.
yeah, the lounge or the park. We'll have those two destinations, and we have the meeting point, the lounge, the park. We have dessert. You just want to designate what you want as a starter or a main course. And as long as you just talk about dinner plans in a very dinner plan way in regards to this plan, you could communicate quite a significant amount of information. Obviously, I'm throwing out a dinner plan scenario as it's the first thing what came to mind. There may be a more effective way to get across this information, but that is one way to do it.
The dinner plan is a good one.
It is simple. Simplicity will be good enough.
I believe so, given the numbers that we might be dealing with. And all you need to do is, when you are indicating the meeting point or the lounge or the park, just show what you meant on a map. That should convey more than enough. I'm quite versed in such things, so if you are uncertain, I'm more than happy to speak to the others.
Very well. We should at least let Metal Banana know about that with their new job in cleanup. They can't really come to these meetings.
I can have a word with them, though I would highly recommend we keep dessert probably a little bit on the low down.
Mhm.
But we can refer to our equipment as starters,
Yes.
and possibly you can refer to the ships as the main course, given that that will potentially be the main confusion to it all. But we can leave the main course to something else at the moment.
Very well.
So
But
let me just go through this little harebrained scheme first of all. So you're going to use your little device there, somehow make it go to where, well, hope it goes to where our equipment is. It sends a signal, and you can see that signal on your tablet, and you then at least know where the equipment is.
right.
What knowing where the equipment is at least one thing. Get into it, and the security in place would be other things. Are we going to go in blind, or we got ways to work that out?
Well, we have Katarina, who counts as a construct. The constructs here can move around without any ponies batting an eye, or ruminants. But since Katarina's, well, the way he is, we've come up with a way of disguising him to look like other constructs.
Okay, so he's going to be our scout.
Exactly. And once he's scouted out the area, he can report back with his findings, and we can proceed on from there. See what type of security that the area has, and if it's just ruminant, well, I've personally seen how jumpy they are. Any sort of threat could make them bulk.
It's highly unlikely
If
that
it's-
ruminants would be our problem. I would have a feeling it's going to be the automatons.
Mhm.
If we get our equipment, though,
So,
that should at least help.
but yeah, with our equipment, we can do a quick in and out, at least grab our weapons and fight them off. Bar ourselves in to put on our armor, and then head out.
Swift Gadget, how tough are these things? I mean, you've obviously got probably a better understanding of most of this stuff. Swift Gadget kind of sort of goes from like trying to take this all in to suddenly being on the spot. Oh, well, they're made out of some sort of alloy metal. So, I mean, a number of you have adamantine weapons. I mean, that should cut through whatever toughness they've got pretty effectively. But anyone who doesn't have adamantine is going to struggle. But what, Bird? Alex, you've got one?
I do not have adamantine weapons, but I do have something that's still up my sleeve.
You must.
And I actually have you to thank for that, Steel.
He gives you an odd look. Oh, it must. And Swift Gadget then goes, "Oh, yeah, it must be Metal Banana. What does? I mean, if it matters, I do have. Oh, I did have an adamantine dagger that that should be with our equipment."
Now, worst case scenario, I can always use that, but like I said, because I've been cut off from my paladin powers, I've found a way to draw that from myself, so I can still fight, if not as effectively as a paladin, I still have the ability to lay some hurt on the enemies.
Still gives you a rather disappointed look, and it goes, being a paladin's not about being able to fight more effectively. There's a lot more to it than that.
Well, needs must right now.
But as Swift Gadget goes, well, I mean, I can probably also get us through most, doors or other things. And I mean, I probably could put something together to disable any, those weird doorway things that takes away all of our stuff. Because we're bound to find a few of those as we go. Though,
That's good.
once we obviously get our equipment, we probably could just smash them. So, I'll have something together just in case we need it beforehand.
That's a good plan. I know Metal Banana has access to the sewer system. Do you think we can do something with that?
Still, well, if it's anything like the sewer system in Villager Town, it's all linked together. So you could travel probably to most places underneath the city. I have a feeling that, again, that might work well if you know the route. One group is being loud and proud while the other one's skulking below. Come up when they where they need to and infiltrate. Though the only other downside of the sewers is they generally have very few access points, and you can easily get locked in, potentially if they've got waiter fighters.
Okay, so obviously
But I think we'll have, based on what I can see of the records, they haven't tested any of the security systems here. They've run drills and everything else, but they've never had any real life situation like we're going to throw at them. So they probably won't react as quickly and effectively. So that'll be at least our advantage. Oh, Alex is gone. Alex, come back.
Also, got some bad news. It was my brother wants to leave sooner than we were originally planned, so gotta go. So.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Evie. Oh, he's gone already.
Okay, bye.
yeah, I just came back. I was like, my sound wasn't working for a moment there.
And then there were three.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we can at least do this little meeting anyway.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to, get Evie to do some scouting work because he could have started looking around underground. So.
We can do that. So yeah, start next session probably.
Yeah. Still, we'll look towards the milk thistle. You've been surprisingly quiet on a lot of this.
There's much going through my mind. I've had a great deal of time to think despite how hard I've been reading and studying. Everything in this city, despite its outward appearance, has a divine nature. This entire city was built on not stolen technology, but stolen artifacts from the gods themselves. And he looks to the ruins. Your gods, your heritage, those that cultivated you and brought you up out of the ethereal to the material plane. You are scavenging off of their creations, off of what they made to aid you and lead you. This entire city is squandered by selfish creatures who turn their back on the divine and supposedly outgrew the gods. But yet you leech off of them with every single moment you exist here.
Do we really have time for a lecture here?
Still
The
goes.
truth needs
Oh.
the truth needs to be put out there, Alexandra, and I can be concise. There is a powerful demonic force that used to be one of your gods. He is called the Stag Lord now, but before his heart was stolen from him, and before he was faced against so many unspeakable tortures that he was twisted into a demonic creature, he was a god. The fabricator itself is a relic of his realm. And I believe that city is also a god of yours. Hint of Winter still has a presence on the material plane, and she has called upon us to set things right. I would want the ruminants to set things right as well, to bring balance back to this chaos that is unfurled on the material plane. I do not want, and he looks to Bramble. I do not want to see the civilization destroyed. I want to see it restored. It has become stagnant and spoiled and highly hypocritical by remaining here. Back on the material plane is where you and all of your people belong. And these ancient relics do not belong to you. They never did. They must be returned to their gods. And the gods that you once worshipped must be restored so we can bring balance back to everything. That is what we have been called here to do. And I do not want to do it so hastily that we leave unfinished business so it can fester and spoil and become someone else's future problems generations from now. We have an opportunity to correct everything right here, right now. Do you understand?
Bramble kind of looks at you. I mean, the other kids have kind of like taken a few steps back as you kind of went on your little sort of speech, and he goes, I mean, no. I mean, you talk about the gods and stuff. I mean, we barely know anything about them other than, well, there were once powerful creatures that lived in the outer planes, and we obviously we discovered how to harness their own power and use it to our own means instead of them utilizing it. Yeah, our ancestors worshipped them, but well, we outgrew that.
You didn't.
So, look who you're talking to. These are children compared to the ones who've actually did what you're saying.
But
Young ones, you have been deceived. You've been lied to. You didn't outgrow your gods, your ancestors, your current leaders. They foolishly stole from the gods and have sent everything into disarray. This is not the life you were meant to live. You are not to live eternally, never aging, never growing. You're supposed to be on the material plane, guided but separated from the gods until you grow old and die, and then your souls are returned to them so that they can either reincarnate you or you can serve at their side and live in their realm if they so choose to have you. All of this, the blocking of divine power, the connection to the gods themselves, all of this is a perversion. I do not want to see the ruminant destroyed, even if it means through stagnation and decay such as it is now. I want to see the ruminant restored. We need to restore the ruminant gods. You have been lied to your entire lives, and I wish to show you the truth.
I've not sure that's stuff I want. I'm quite happy living here and doing what I'm doing. I mean, you obviously talk about some very grand things there, but I mean, I just work in the power plant and do what I need to do. I'm not sure. You speak of gods and demons and all sorts of things. I mean, it makes a wonderful story in a small adventure, but I mean that's not anything that I wanted or want. I mean, I'll happily help you in going home, as I think you should be allowed to go home, but the rest of the stuff you're talking about, I don't think I want that.
Nor do I think that you should. You, even though if I do not agree with the way your city is, thousands of lives are content with it. I would hope that we can convince a few of those to return and be a part of Everglow, but we cannot force them.
I mean, like I said, a few of us have gone back, or did go back, but
I think the best way is to find a way to have open borders between our lands, so people can come and go as they wish.
well, if you're doing what you're going to say you're going to do, I mean, we might not. I don't think anyone would trust outsiders again.
You trust us still, don't you?
Well, as long as you don't do anything to hurt anybody or hurt this or damage the city in a way that it will hurt anyone, I've got no problems. But obviously, if you do anything that would, then, well, I will protect my friends and family.
As you should. Alexandrite kind of gives a look to Milk Thistle. I understand what you're saying, but I think that this is a battle not worth fighting right now. They have made their lot in life, and they are laying in their bed.
Perhaps you're right. Very well.
Perhaps if
Go ahead.
perhaps if we manage to escape and years come about later and you're still alive, that you could start talking about maybe opening deals with the outsiders. Perhaps find a way that we can coexist beside each other, if not in the same world. We have a lot we can learn from each other. And if we manage to defeat the Stag Lord, you would have no reason to fear repercussions from him.
I mean, you say all this stuff like I'm the one in charge, but I can't really comment on any of it.
No, but even a small spark can start a fire. One voice can turn into many and can change the world.
But I'm not sure I want to change the world.
That's fine. Let's just focus on returning home and fixing the heart. Can we agree on that?
Fix the hearts. Return home. Yes, I can agree to that.
That should be our primary goal. Anything else will be a secondary and a bonus.
Tell me, this scramble of devices here, this is the teleporter?
Bramble gives a nod. Yes. You enter the chamber here. You need to take off everything. You can only take yourself. It will charge up and it will take you to Everglow. But once its power cells are expended, it takes many cycles before it will be fully charged again. Generally, by then, normally who left does come back, but they're, well, old and on their deathbed.
How does it work exactly?
Um,
To the best of my knowledge, teleportation, plane shifting, these are things of a very powerful magical nature.
well, the person who designed it and built it, I mean, he was very smart. I mean, his father was the architect of many of the stuff here, and he was studying under him. So, as much as I know, is it obviously utilizes the abilities to push an individual between the weakened walls within the planes, which have always been here. I think it worked on the same kind of principle what moved the city here to begin with.
We have blueprints of it that we are going to put in the manufactorum, if you would like to see them.
Oh, I most definitely would, please.
Alexander will show them.
Well, Bramble will show you, as it's on a
No,
very
yeah,
sort
sorry.
of like old-looking computer. Think of like a computer back in the 90s.
Windows 98. Ooh.
Yeah, kind of looking thing.
IBM.
And that's basically got stored. It stores the blueprints and kind of, you know, the schematics and the coding and everything. What kind of makes it work. The computer's all connected up to the device as well, so it does play quite a critical role to it. I mean, Milk Thistle. It doesn't. You just looking at it, it makes very little sense. Most of the components that seem to make up, you've never heard of before, and there's definitely a few things that you will see in Ruminant, because there's no translation for them in Infernal or Sylvan or any other language that you know.
Milk Thistle will gesture for Swift Gadget to come take a look. Ask her if she can make sense of it.
She goes, I think, well, that looks a bit like there's like some principles on what I think the engine of the ship has, but like maybe like 10% of what I've seen in the ship is like in here. The rest of it is, well, I know, so a lot of it's gobbledygook. I mean, yeah, well, that runs through to that. Oh, okay, that's the power distribution. I mean, I don't know how.
So do you think?
Oh, sorry.
Do you think in time you could gain a better understanding of all of this?
Uh, I mean, maybe if I took it apart, but I mean, to get an understanding of the airship. I mean, I took the whole thing apart, put it back together a few times, and I mean, it took me a few years to get an understanding of that. Um, I might need the same for this. Well, it probably won't take me as long, but I mean, give me 6 months maybe.
Well, if these are the blueprints for that teleporter, and we need to build one larger.
Well,
Uh, Out of character, thinking back to my readings on the fabricator and the control panel in the manufactorum, could this feasibly be scaled up to the size that we need?
so the information you know of the manufactorium is whatever you put into it, you should be able to bring out. There was no indication of limits on size. You The only thing you know of about limits is energy cost. So as long as it doesn't deplete the energy requirement or the energy it's got, or the city's energy, you can make it. Size wise, Swift Gadget was able to tell you that there's quite large areas where things are constructed, so you shouldn't have any problems to make it a more than one person size.
Can you estimate how much energy would be used for, say, a platform size?
Um, I I would have to have a look at how much power that it's using to begin with. Um, I mean, this power is new to me. I'm still getting my head around that. I mean, it's probably going to be more than our little ship. Probably like several of them. But I mean, if it's hooked into the city, it probably won't matter. You're drawing directly from the city at that point. This thing, it's connected to the city, but it charges this power pack, and once the power pack's full, then it can discharge. And they're only drawing like a microscopic amount from the city over time. I'm guessing that's to make it stay hidden, and the city won't detect such a small siphon of energy. Well, when we do it, it won't matter. We can just take as much as we need.
Very true.
Scale wise, I mean, well, this thing's clearly been put together in pieces. I mean, what we're asking the manufacturer to make will be one brand new altogether, so you won't have to care about assembly. It will assemble itself. So we probably could make a better version, because we don't have to take several hundred pieces and put them together.
A brilliant idea, Swift Gadget.
What?
I believe that once we are in the manufactorum at the fabricator, we can have it construct the teleportation circle and immediately teleport us back to the material plane.
Yeah, that was the idea. Yes.
Yes. When I saw this, I was expecting us to have to manufacture a single piece at a time but go undetected.
Wow.
No, that's why I was more confident than you at the start of this meeting, because I've learned about how this thing works and such from the creatures that made it.
Well, my apologies for doubting you initially, Alexandra.
Apology accepted.
So this does leave the issue of regaining our property.
Mhm.
We need to regain our property. I have things of personal and religious significance to me that I must obtain, things that I put years of work into. And I have no doubt that everyone else does too.
Mhm.
Well,
So I believe the biggest challenge of our goal is going to be obtaining our property, purifying the hearts, and then creating the teleportation circuit.
Yes. Well, like I said, I've at least come up with a way of finding where our equipment is.
and then with Katerina scouting the area once you've discovered its location, should help a little bit more. It will at least tell
Yes.
us how close we can get before we may start alerting others.
Out of character, GM. I
Yes.
did DM you. I did DM you last week before the session started. Milk Thistle wanted to spend a little bit of his off time speaking with Katarina
Oh,
in
nice.
regards to the nightmare and his religion and things like that. Has he had the opportunity to do that with him yet?
Well, Catherine has spent most of his time with Alex, and I think you've been. What have you been doing? Oh, Alex, you was doing something with him. I can't remember what it was now.
I remember he's been staying here for the last after I brought him here.
Oh yeah, he's mostly been staying in the hideout.
Okay, so no is the answer.
Yeah.
Is Katarina here?
Yes, he will be.
Katarina,
Yes.
your predicament being undead, is it still upsetting you?
I'm getting used to it, and it seems that it will have its advantage here. So perhaps it is a good thing.
Do you wish to live then?
I would, yes.
Then I encourage us to endeavor to use the fabricator to create the materials necessary for oh, forgive me, out of character. What's the resurrection spell? Is that what it's called? Resurrection?
Are you on about the lower level one, raised dead, or are you talking about the higher end ones?
Higher end ones.
Oh, true resurrection, or
True.
I think, or is it just called resurrection? I have to double check, to be honest.
I think there's two. I think resurrection's a level 7 spell. True resurrection's level 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, resurrection has things like, drain and other negative traits put on you.
Yeah.
True resurrection brings you back to full health, full strength.
There are time frames involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
So resurrection works like raised dead. Except for it lets you, and the creature can if you use 10 years per caster level. Okay, yeah, you're probably going to be okay with the resurrection if you find a high enough level cleric.
Yeah, because I'm only casting level 6 spells right now. Dang.
Yeah, it's a level 7 spell.
All right. There's true resurrection. That's the top tier one.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay, so bringing up those spells, once we are free of the divine block of this place, and we have the diamond necessary, we can find a cleric powerful enough to resurrect you and bring you back to life, if you so choose.
I would like that. Unless being like this helps more, then I do want to help you as payment for giving me this chance.
We will use we'll use every situation to our benefit to its full potential. But it is not necessary for you to remain undead for you to be of use to us. It is better for you to be restored than to be as you are.
Agreed. If we have the chance to bring you back to life, I would fight harder to make sure of that. Though I don't think that we should probably work on the other two things first, and then work on the things
Still
or
goes,
the diamond.
escape.
When the
is,
time comes, go ahead.
still goes. Escape is our primary objective, along with potentially curing the heart. Then, if we have a moment,
We must purify the heart first and foremost, even before our escape. If we must choose between purifying the heart and escaping, the purification of the heart must be our priority.
I would.
Yes. If
I would disagree.
we pure,
If we cannot escape, then well, we're probably good as dead. Well, you lot are. So.
Yeah. But if we purify the heart and you can manage to escape with the heart, you can just return here and use this teleporter.
This is true.
But we will be doing our utmost to accomplish all of our goals. So when it comes time to use the fabricator, we must purify the heart, create the teleportation, and then create the diamond dust necessary.
Mhm.
Once we have all of these things, we will escape back to the material plane.
Yes.
Agreed?
Agreed. Probably you and Wishful Pen should probably be working on the manufactorum, since myself, Burned, and Steel, and Metal Banana will probably be holding off guards.
This is entirely possible, as us who have high levels of fighting capabilities without magical use will most likely be utilised for that. So, Wishful Pen, I suggest in your downtime you assist with the studies with Milk Thistle and Swift Gadget.
I am still very much interested in what is causing the divination block over this city. I wonder if it's coming from the fabricator itself.
Swift Gadget goes, well, I mean, it's fairly centralised, so it's probably something in the central building. The manufactorium is off on one of the off on one of the wings, so to speak. So.
All right, so out of character, looking out over the city right here, where is the manufactorium located?
So you'll be looking at one of these sort of sticky out bits. So basically, if we argue, say it'd be over here. This over here is like the living section, as well as this one. You've got like the main central hub. You have over here will be the dock. And you've got a few other like little like entertainment sections and gardens and stuff around.
Milk Thistle.
Just out of character, just one moment. I want to get this thought out of my head. All right, so since the divination block, for lack of a better term, it's kind of like an aura that's over the entire city.
Yeah.
So it would make sense for it to be centralized. So it's just deduction. It might be this right here, whatever this is. This shining light with the Golden Gate Bridge coming out of it. Or if it's not there, then it's probably underneath the main platform here, hidden away under high security. That would be my intention.
I mean, still goes, well, if it depends on how vital it is, I would put it, well, in the centre mass of the central island. If it was something that could be placed there. If not, then I suppose, yes, it's either coming out of the bottom or the top, depending on, I don't know, how it functions.
And it actually expanded out quite a ways because we were cut off from the divine well before we entered the city limits, as we were approaching it, in fact.
Yes, we were.
So it covers a massive, massive area. Bramble, do you know how high off the ground we are?
No, not at this point in time. I know there is ground down there. Well, I've been told there's ground.
I might be able to inquire that of City without raising suspicion. It is just a question of curiosity. You were saying, Alexander?
Yeah. Well, I was saying that perhaps that's something you can ask the leader if you, since you want to get his voice for the goggles. Perhaps you can set up a sort of tea party, I guess, of some sort, or a get together where you can discuss things with him and he can see our progress.
I'll be
That
cautious
would
about how you want to go about meeting him. He seemed very, I don't know the word.
take some very careful finessing of words.
Well, that's why I think you would probably be best at that.
It would take away valuable time learning about the fabricator, but it may be worthwhile.
Well, now that we have 3 others who might potentially be able to pick up the slack.
Very well. I'll start formulating a plan that's next.
Very well. For my part of the plan currently, I need to wait till the next cycle and then take that armor.
Well, if you need to take that, I suggest you work on losing your tracking device so there's not a moment wasted. So once you, and then the next cycle after that is when we look at potentially enacting our escape plan.
Yes. Let's see. Is there one of those gates between here and the art area?
You're in the living quarters district, so you would have to sort of go off to one of the places where there is one. So it's something you kind of have to go out of your way to find.
Okay, there's no like security to like just teleport things once you enter a building. Like
No, once you,
okay,
I mean, unless it's like a very important building, like the central one or the manufactoratorium or the energy center or stuff like that, then they may have additional security. But just the living spaces, they don't have them on your doorways and stuff like that.
yeah, Alexander will, I guess, pull up a map on his tablet. Where are? I know
enough,
there were.
They don't advertise that on the map where they are.
Oh, they don't. All right, then he can ask the Ruinant here. Do you know where there are those security gates that teleport things?
Well, there's. Bramble goes, well, you go to any of the like major facilities that have them. The Central Spire has them, I believe, where there's sensitive tools that you're not meant to take out of an area. There's them, though I think those ones are designed to teleport the tools back to where they go rather than take them away.
So that wouldn't help at all.
So you probably want to try and get it into a more high risk area. You know, like one of the cores or one of the in the central spiral or one of the main key buildings where something like that would be removed.
Is there one that's I can make it look like I'm lost, perhaps?
Well, you can't get lost. You have your own navigation system on you at all times.
Uh, hmm. Uh, hmm. But if I were to misplace my navigational tool,
I don't know. I mean, generally speaking, the buildings which you know you're not meant to be anywhere near are pretty well labelled, and there is like checkpoints you have to go through to get into them. So it's not something you would accidentally walk into. Well, not that I can think of anyway.
So how am I going to get this tracker into one of those places then?
Still goes, perhaps I can offer a suggestion.
Yeah.
Give it to Bramble. He enters a high level security area daily. Well, cyclically or whatever the hell we refer to these things as. If he walks through one of the gateways, then it'll disappear. That's all we need. It doesn't have to be you who does it.
That is a good point. Very well, Bramble. Would you be willing to take this off my hose?
Okay.
All right. He'll give the tracking device to him.
Bramble will take it.
All right. Well, that's that then. That just leaves me to take the armor then.
Well, we'll wait until the next down the city's maintenance, and then, well, do you need help with that, or do you think you should be able to do it on your own?
Perhaps help would be better. That way I'm not carrying an entire thing of armor by myself.
Why don't you take Katerina with you? That way you can just put them straight on.
That is true. I forget out of character. With armor, it does having more people put things on speed things up, or would just one extra person help be enough?
I don't think it really speeds it up too much. It's the difference between like putting it on hastily gives you like penalties and stuff like that. When it comes to like heavy armor, though, this one's going to be a bit different, and the way you're going to be slotting it on is going to be a bit more different because it's not got proper straps and stuff because you've obviously crafted it out of metal. You're more just using Katerina's natural decaying body to help slide in the pieces into him. So it's going to get a bit more squidgy.
Yeah. All right. So me and Katerina should be enough to put it all on, ideally.
Yeah. As long as no one's walking by, it'll be fine. Getting Katerina there shouldn't be too much of a problem. You can just, throw over the sort of a cloak on him to sort of hide him up mostly, or an extra robe anyway, to cover him up mostly to get him there without scaring half the populace.
Yeah, basically how I got him here.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else we need to go over?
I will speak with everybody else and slowly relay the plan to them. I just need to check.
That's
Are we splitting forces and having some go for the shipyard and some for the manufactorium?
I think that it would be the best idea.
All right.
That way we one group can possibly get out.
I may have a means of ensuring all of us get out.
Hmm.
Alexandra, you said you're able to send messages covertly, correct?
Well, send messages that delete themselves after you read them.
Could
I
you
don't
show
know
me?
if you. Oh, certainly. You'll send a message to Milk Thistle. Hey, goat butt.
Well, it says you've got mail. You open your mail, you read it, and then after a few moments of it being open, it just sort of disappears.
All right, and how do I do that?
He'll go over what he learned from the
Yep.
ruminant.
He'll send just a quick test message back.
And
And,
you will receive the message, and the same thing will happen.
All right. Does this work during any time of day or only during the times when city is offline?
Any time of day.
Allow me to do a little bit of more research and I'll message you later.
All right.
Still speaks up and goes, are they hidden from city, or is it just like a nice little feature that to stop I don't know, stop normal eyes reading it?
That is a
Yeah.
good.
I would suggest if you're going to communicate anything, keep it within the dinner plan ruse, just to be safe.
Very well. I do plan on taking one of these tablets with us if we can be able to.
Well, just keep it on your person, and
Mhm.
well, we'll probably end up taking them all.
Very well. And hopefully we can still keep in touch with our friends here.
If they work.
Yes. It is a long shot, but we'll be the ones to test that. And if not, we can maybe find a way to learn how to backwards compatibly use this technology. Like with the ship.
Bramble goes, anyway, you guys best be going soon. I think the cycles will be over very shortly.
Yes. I'm at least glad we can bring Milk Thistle in on these meetings now.
Yes, thank you very much for the invitation. It was a pleasure meeting all of you.
Most of the young ruminant might not share that sentiment.
Well, Milk Thistle does regardless.
Alexander will go, he means well. He's just a little intense.
Bramble goes, well, we haven't got time to, sort out your problems. We'll have to do that another time.
Well, then let's be on our way then.
You all head up the ladder up into the outside space again, and disappear into the residential area to do whatever you guys were going to go off and do. It is during your relaxation time, so you can go and so most of you probably go and study and stuff like that.
Yeah. Alexandra will go to the art area and kind of scout out the area, see the mantelpiece, make sure it's still there.
Yeah, the armor's still there. Looking at this area, it's not like too public. There is somewhat space to be concealed, but if anyone's walking along the path in the vicinity, they would have a very good view of it, as it's obviously been put up as a display. So it's there to be seen. So if anyone happens to be obviously looking around at the time, then that could cause a problem.
Yeah.
That is your only downside at the moment.
Is there any like signs that's like closed off, wet floor, things like that?
No, nothing like that.
Okay. I was like, things I could just casually just put in front of the entrances to be like, oh yeah, don't go this way.
No, there's nothing like that.
Okay.
But I mean, for some stuff like that, that sounds like maintenance-based stuff. So perhaps you just need to find somebody who works in maintenance and ask them to steal something.
Yeah. If only I knew someone who worked in maintenance.
I know. Well, they've run off, I'm afraid. So
Yeah. Sadly. So next time.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all Alexandra. I'm sorry, you go ahead.
Yes, Milk Thistle is going to travel to the center of the city. And as he does so, he's going to be pondering the conversation he'll potentially have with Elder Grey Longbeard. But he wants to basically just, try to absorb the essence of the structure itself. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use. Is this made out of stone, the center structure?
It parts of it look like it's stone. Some of it's definitely glass-like material. There looks like some sort of metal in the construction, as well as some areas where there is stone. So it's definitely a mixture of things. You've not seen any sort of construction like this ever before.
Let's see. The entire center portion right here, is it entirely covered with water?
No, it's not entirely covered by water. There'd be like a ring of it, though, to make it sort of look nice, but not entirely.
Milk Thistle will travel as close to the center as he can.
So you can. So the bridges what do cross over in the middle does happen. There are pathways what lead down to the entrance of the building. So you can get right underneath it like you can in the image, and look up and stuff like that. But you wouldn't be able to gain any access to the actual central building from here, unless you kind of started to be able to fly or climb.
Let's see. Have we heard the chimes to indicate city is back online?
There's no indication that city there's no audible indication that it happens.
Oh, I thought there were. There's like chimes to indicate the time between cycles.
Yes, there is the chimes between cycles, but when city goes offline, it doesn't line up with the cycles. It's something entirely the Lastborn had worked out and make use of. So there's no obvious indication that the city goes offline.
Well, Milk Thistle will call out to city. City.
You will get its response chime.
How high is this city off the ground below?
Currently, the city stands at. Now, I'm trying to remember my height. At
1,000 yards.
at just
Hold on.
at just at 180,000 feet.
180,000 feet. I was expecting meters from you, but that's okay. 180,000 feet.
Foundry uses feet, so
That is ridiculously high. That's like upper ionosphere of the Earth high. All right. 180,000 feet because Mount Everest is only 27,000 feet.
Yeah.
And I think if you combine the depth of Mariana's Trench up to the point of Mount Everest, that's just barely over 100,000 feet. So we are very, very, very high off the ground. Okay. Okay, he asked City another question. City,
yes.
may I see the center of the city that's built?
You are currently stood in the center of the city.
Is there anything below inside the structures? Any manufactured devices?
There are many things below where you are currently stood.
May I see them?
You do not have authorization.
I see. City, is it possible for me to request a meeting with Elder Grey Longbeard?
You may request.
I would like to put in a request for tea with Elder Grey Longbeard tomorrow morning.
Your
Or
request is denied.
during... Oh, that was very quick.
Your security rating is too high for you to be gained access to such an individual.
I see.
Please try again when your security rating is lower.
City, during my recreational time, I inquired if inquiry. I inquired if there were any recordings of Elder Grey Longbeard's voice, and I was not able to find any.
This is correct. Since the
Are there
activation of City, Elder Grey Longhorn has not made many public appearances since then. All his prior records are available for reading within the archives, and if you wish to learn more about his presence before the activation of City, it is all located in there.
Is it possible to have Elder Grey Longbeard's words read to me in his voice? I understand he is a leader and may not have time to speak to his people as he once did, but it would be interesting to hear his words as he once was.
It can be read to you in many voices and languages. Well, no, it can be read to you in many voices, but Elder Grey Longhorn's voice is not one that is available for it to be read in.
Why would his voice be restricted?
His voice carries a number of additional security features and is restricted.
I see. That does make sense.
I have an out of character idea.
What's your idea?
You can ask who among us has the lowest.
Has the lowest.
Yeah, because I think only like the myself, you, and Metal Banana are the top danger people.
I think Steel Prism currently has the lowest setting, but he's also the one keeping the Heart of Everglow safe. So if he has
someone else might be able to have security.
Yeah, someone else. Someone who has the gift of gab, preferably. Because I have an idea of having a tablet with us and having it record Elder Grey Longbeard saying the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Yeah.
Because if we can get him saying that, we can splice his voice into just about anything.
Steel could probably do something like that. Maybe Burns' dad.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Swift Victory might be a good choice. City, what is the security rating of Swift Victory?
Um, he was quite heavily wounded when you guys got to the city, so he went to medical. So his older age. He probably would have a rating of 5 at the moment, I would say.
City, is Swift Victory eligible to speak with Elder Grey Longhorn?
A request can be made.
Can I make it on his behalf, or is he required to make it?
He is required to make it.
I understand. City, can you instruct me where to find Swift Victory at this moment?
His location has been updated on your tablet.
Milk Thistle looks at the tablet.
He's basically in the residential area.
Okay. Milk Thistle will start making his way there.
So, if he does get approval, I'm going to make Bird play his dad, because I ain't role-playing with myself.
That would actually be kind of cool to hear. All right. Trying to think. All right, so we're 180,000 feet off the ground. That is ridiculously high.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I mean, city flat out said I don't have security clearances to gain access to the underground, so there's no sense in pushing for that. Shoot. Okay, so out of character, I think if we are able to uh, get if we're able to get the elder's voice recording, and we might just be able to use that voice to, just gain access to the city itself. There might arise complications if, his voice is showing up like way over here in the manufactorum, but he's still inside, his palace or whatever, his throne room, whatever he's got. But we might be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Um,
My name is Shepard, and this is my favorite store in the cathedral.
Commander Shepard, savior of humanity. Would you please buy something at my store? It would be great for my business. You give me a discount, you got a deal. All right. Trying to think. I think that's all Milk Thistle has for the moment. He's going to go speak with Swift Victory.
All right. Well, I mean, he will probably be relaxing, as alien as that is to himself. But he's very much kind of a fish out of water in this sort of environment, and is struggling a smidge.
Greetings, Swift.
Mood.
He looks at you, goes, Milk Thistle, what can I do you for?
I'm here to call on your aid for a task.
Oh, well, anything to break up this mind-numbing boredom of what seems to be meant to be perfection.
tell me, do you have any experiences with speaking to high members of states?
Mm, not normally. I mean, I've spoken to a number of nobles in my day, but with taking jobs and stuff, so I know how to say my T's and Q's, but not anything higher than a noble or local mayor or something.
Hmm. We need to speak with Elder Grey Longhorn. You were severely injured when we first arrived, so I don't believe you had a chance to meet with him.
No, I wasn't taken up to the shiny building.
I would like you to, out of character, I'm trying to think of how to say this without giving away the plan while City is able to listen in.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would like you to take your tablet with you when you go speak to him and ask him for a friendly conversation. See how he is and what his impression of our presence here is at this moment. Because unfortunately, many of us did not make a good first impression, myself included. But I am endeavoring to change the minds of those in power. And unfortunately, due to my mistakes, I cannot ask him myself. Would you be willing to do this for me?
Yeah, I can go and have a word with him, see if I can talk him round and indicate we're thankful for what we're going to be thankful for. Him helping us, he taking us in.
Thankful for the opportunity to be a part of this civilization, even though the opportunity was not earned. And that living here has certainly opened our eyes to a different perspective on things.
I'm sure
There will, of course,
I can hold that conversation with him.
there will, of course, be other, topics of discussion, things more important. I'll be sure to send them to you on your tablet in the near future.
All right.
But
Well,
in order for you to meet with Elder Grey Longhorn, you'll need to put in the request yourself.
all right. Well, I have a quick word with him and I'll go and have a friendly chat and be thankful we've been taken in by him and his people.
Yeah. Just have him talk about lots of things. Draw out the conversation, if you would. Get him to say all these words.
Out of character, yeah, I'm gonna send him a quickly deleted message that says, "Make sure the elder says all of these words in multiple tones if possible, so we can get different inflections and we splice it together." But yeah, Milk Thistle wants to make sure that City is not able to see those messages before they're put out.
He goes, well, I'll have a look at your messages, but I'm still trying to work out these little fandangle from weird things.
Oh, that's right. He's a boomer.
Yeah.
So is Milk Thistle. If he can figure it out, Swift Victory can too. All right, so Milk Thistle will take out his tablet and show him how to type out the message. And he says, "I'm going to send you something a little strange. Let me know if you receive this." Milk Thistle is going to send the message. City is currently 170,000 feet off the ground. Is that correct? And he'll send that to Swift Victory.
He looks at it and goes, I don't know. And he goes, and it's gone. Did you do that?
And Milk Thistle doesn't respond to Swift Victory. He waits to see if City responds.
Oh, you are. Oh, did you say out loud that question?
No, he didn't say the question out loud. He only sent it in the message to Swift Victory.
Okay.
But he wants to see if City reads the message and then answers it.
No, there's no response from City.
Okay. And Milk Thistle is going to send another message. This time he's going to say, guests have access to restricted areas in the city. Is this correct? And then he sends that message to Swift Victory.
He looks at it and it gets obviously deleted, and he's like, but you get no answer from City.
All right. Out of character, that's obviously not a clear answer that she's not able to see those messages.
That's very true. She might just be smart enough to know not to answer people's secret messages.
But if it's deleted from the tablet, does that mean it's deleted from City's memory banks?
It's a good question.
That would make sense, right? Because
I mean, if you sent a message to your network through your network provider that deleted on the other end, does your network provider store a section of that message within their system still, even after it's deleted?
I mean, obviously, yes. Like metadata is collected constantly. Like they had to create new words to describe storage space for the amount of storage that they need to collect all this information.
So, I mean, that's all I will comment on that matter. So you can read into that as much as you like. But I suppose it still doesn't help you to know if the city actually does store it or not.
And the question is, do we know that it stores it or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it is stored, is City like constantly accessing that information? Because even AIs cannot constantly access all information all the time. It would require too much power.
You are quite.
So it would make more sense for it to be stored somewhere in a memory bank, but not like accessible unless you purposefully accesses it.
And with all the tablets in the city, like it would be a blip in like a radar of blips, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the sensible way you would look at it is if you think of that, the only reason the city will monitor you is because the city was worried about something you might do, or potentially because of your security level. You might be more closely monitored, just like, the secret services and all that sort of stuff do when they're looking for terrorists. They closely monitor people.
Then I do not need to send this information from my tablet to Swift Victories. So what if okay, out of character, help me out here, Alexandra. So what I want to do is I want to send a message to Swift Victory saying, use your tablet to record Elder Grey Longhorn's voice saying, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Have that recorded in his voice, so that way we can use it, later on. If I send that from my tablet while I'm under surveillance, then that's probably going to set off a bunch of red alarms and whatnot. But if another ruminant were to send that to Swift Victory, who's at a lower security threat, it would probably go unnoticed, especially if it were deleted immediately. So do you think we should wait till the next meeting of the minds and bring Swift Victory along with us?
Oh, that was my plan anyway, to bring him and the Clash and Dawn, was it, to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, yeah, we can more fully explain the plan in detail to Swift Victory, and we can tell them exactly what we need, and we don't even have to send it through the tablet at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, that's a safer way to play it.
Yeah. Though I was also saying, like, we could also do like a thing of a game of telephone.
Well, if we do a game of telephone,
Someone
that
else.
that just creates a paper trail. And it's like this person's connected to this person, connected with this person. They're all in on the conspiracy kind of thing.
Oh yeah, it could also be like a chain letter kind of thing.
Yep.
I think it's better to try to keep our actual plan off the grid. Like if we just keep it voice to voice when City can't hear us, then that would be. So yeah, what we'll do then is we'll bring Swift Victory to the next meeting of the minds, explain the plan, and have him get the recording of Elder Grey Longhorn saying the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And then once we have that, we can splice it into whatever we need in order to gain access to restricted areas. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah, I'm also just thinking like we could also just have the conversation. Like we only need like what his name and then like access granted or something like that. Like it's if you can naturally get into a conversation without like him having to say a particular thing like in one thing. It might be less suspicious if it's just kind of edited together.
You know what? We'll leave that to Burn directly, and then when he plays with Victory.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like the best
Like
idea.
I think you just need my name is Swift sorry, not Swift Victory.
Elder
My name is
Longhorn.
Elder Longbeard, was it?
Longhorn.
Longhorn. I've been calling him so many different names.
Yep. I have noticed.
Elder, and then like what access granted or something like that. Well, whatever the phrase is we need for him to say, like you can just get him to say those words individually. We can like edit it together probably.
Well, without knowing the exact passphrase, and there could be different phrases for different levels of security. We might not have it exactly right, but if we get him to say the phrase, then we can splice his voice together to create whatever the security password is. And
Yeah,
we can have him bring these words up easily. Like fox and dog, you can talk about the zoo where all the animals are located, and Swift Victory can talk about animals that are back on the material plane, and you just go over it that way.
well, then we would have the problem of you kind of mix the words together to make a password that we don't know.
I mean, at that point, yeah, if we don't know the password, it doesn't matter what we do with the voice.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like,
Well,
and the access granted kind of thing, like, and the voice might be enough to get some things.
yeah. You don't quite know if it's just enough to just say grant access, or if he has to give a passphrase to grant that access afterwards. That you don't know.
I think it's just his voice, honestly.
From my understanding, it was just we needed his voice to like say X thing, and then we have access to thing.
Yeah.
No, like he doesn't need to say anything specific. His voice alone is what would unlock access.
Okay, so yeah, we just need his voice then. So
yeah. Okay,
well,
so
we don't need him to say like all these different things. We need to record his voice.
correct.
All right,
so yeah, as long as we get like a short, at least like 1 minute recording of his voice, we'll be golden.
Mm-hmm.
Because like any recording of his voice at all is restricted and removed from the archives. Okay, so yeah, we don't need to try to trick the Elder into saying anything specific. We just need to get Swift Victory in a meeting with Elder Grey Longhorn and secretly record his voice. That's all we need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As they say, keep it simple, stupid.
Yes, I understand.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, back into character. Milk Thistle will explain that there's plans for a dinner party coming up, Swift Sail, and we'd like you to meet with us to discuss the main course. Do you think you'll be available at the end of next cycle?
Uh, yeah, probably. I mean, I'm not doing much at the moment.
All right, excellent. Yeah, we'll come retrieve you when it's time.
All right, I'll go back to enjoying my water with this cloudy view.
I just imagine him like in the lounge chair with that.
Yeah.
I'm
the,
cloud bathing.
the most least exciting retirement possible.
Yeah.
And Milk Thistle would go back to his quarters, and as he is walking along, he would call on City again. City,
Yes.
the fabricator and the manufactorum, are there limits on the amount of power it can draw on, or does it produce its own energy when it creates?
It does draw power from the main energy core, so there is a limit.
When the platforms of the city were first created, were they done piece by piece or platform by platform?
The initial layout of the city was already in place, and the platform was built around and underneath the original city.
Would the fabricator be able to feasibly create a new platform sized area? Or would that draw too much power?
A new platform could be constructed. It will take. It would need to be constructed in multiple pieces over an extended period of time, but would be possible.
If the fabricator were able to use an entire energy cell, how large of a platform could it create? So long as the reserve energy cell was in place.
The city would not be able to manufacture an entire. Would not be the manufacturing would not be allowed to utilize an entire energy cell, as that would breach uh, the safety regulations, unless unless it was close to recycle time. Then it would be permitted to utilize this, as the power would be fully drained anyway, ready for replacement.
How large of an area could the replicator, or rather the fabricator, create within the safety regulations?
Hmm. I now need to think of the area volume of what I'm thinking of the.
Honestly, Jan, you don't have to answer that right now. I've actually got an idea I wanted to bring up to you privately after session.
You could probably it would whatever the equivalent of a 5-story building would kind of be is what it could create in one go, in a sense. Not not like click fingers it's made, but it would be able to construct.
Okay. It's much smaller than I anticipated.
Well, they have limits on how big of their warehouse is,
Right.
because it doesn't just make it outside of where it is; it makes it in the building itself.
Can the can the fabricator create things outside the manufacturing? Like, can they manifest outside the manufactorium?
No. Anything inside the manufactorium can only be made in the manufactorium, and then they are transported to their final destination.
Is it possible to have the fabricator create something and have it placed in the intended destination?
Yes. Utilizing the equipment available, you will be able to move the item and place it where it is designated.
I mean, can it be created and placed in the same instance?
No. It has to be made in the manufactorium, and then it will be transported from the manufactorium to its intended location.
City, do you have any records of the fabricator before it was connected to the city's power supply?
Yes.
Yes.
What power source did it run off of?
There was no original power source that it ran off.
Did it have any innate abilities of a divine nature before its current use?
The manufactorium had its own abilities, correct. The information of the power core has vastly increased its capabilities.
What is the power plant?
The power plant is that.
Oh, plant.
Oh, sorry.
You said power plant. I thought you said power claw. I thought that was like some new device that hadn't been brought up yet. I was going to ask questions about it.
Oh, okay. No, power plant.
Power claw.
Power claw. That sounds like something a god would use.
Yeah. I love the power claw so bad.
All right. So the power plant had its uses before the manufactorium. Is that what you were saying?
Uh, the No, basically the manufactorium was utilised before it was hooked up to the power plant, but the power plant did vastly increase its capabilities.
Okay. City, is it possible to overclock the power output for the manufactorium to produce more than it can currently?
That would be against safety regulations.
Of course, it would be, but is it possible?
Yes.
Have there been stress tests to determine what the maximum value of overclocking is possible before meltdown?
Simulations have been run.
How many energy cells can be used at a time through the simulations?
Your theoretical questions have exceeded your authorization limit. That question will not be answered.
I see. Oh. City, do you ever have dreams? Things that seem to come from memory that you've never collected that on before?
That question does not. I'm going to say does not compute, but I feel like that's the wrong way the city would answer that. That question has no relevance. Anything that that question has no relevance, as I do not sleep, so therefore I do not dream.
Well, dreams are very relevant to mortals.
That is correct.
They're very relevant to me.
Yes.
Do you ever have memories or shadows of memories where you experience something and then think about you've experienced it before, even if you don't exactly remember when? It is sometimes called deja vu.
I'm incapable of experiencing deja vu. That is a purely mortal term when they feel like they've experienced something they've already experienced. Yet it might only share similarities between that of a daydream or a thought that they had, or perhaps a moment that happened very similar to one in the past.
I've had speculations about you, Sid. You do know that the fabricator, the manufactorum, it once belonged to a god. You do know that, don't you?
The origin of the manufactorium is beyond your security clearance.
You say that, but one of the teachers I was placed with to get in my initial education was actually quite open to discussing the previous religion and how the ruminants have outgrown their gods. Are you familiar with that term? That phrase, rather?
That is correct.
The ruminants here once worshipped four gods. They were each tied to a season. And given that the manufactorum once belonged to the, let me double check, the god of summer, Total Blade the Clever, I do not believe it is beyond the capability of the ruminants to steal from other gods and turn them into a form of technology for their personal use. I have seen what Total Blade the Clever has become as a result of his artifacts being stolen from him. The entire purpose the ruminant fled to this place to begin with. I've met face to face with End of Winter, his cousin, and how angry and vengeful she has become. I do wonder um, where you come from, Sid.
The city artificial intelligence was created, and it gives a stupid high number. Well, I can't remember exactly the number of cycles I gave you originally, but it gives you that many cycles ago. And was constructed, and she gives a name of a ruminant who was basically the architect for the artificial intelligence. And it was her sacrifice that allowed the full operation of City.
Kind of character sacrifice. That's interesting.
Yeah. The one who had to sacrifice themselves. Why was it required they sacrifice? Was it to flee the stagula?
Negative. The sacrifice was required for full operation. A biological component was required.
Which biological component?
The brain.
The brain. Are you a manifestation of the brain?
Negative.
Well, if the brain came from a mortal being, it would have deteriorated long ago. Unless it somehow managed to survive as the other remnant had for thousands of years here on the ethereal plane.
Your lack of understanding of the complicated construct of the data core of City is the reasoning of your lack of understanding.
And I am trying to understand. That is why I'm asking.
It is currently beyond your level of understanding. Perhaps with more learning, you eventually will come to the point of be able to understand the concepts of how the integration would have taken place and operates.
May I see where the integration took place?
A negative, as that is a restricted area.
What of the other gods of the ruminants? Full bloom the maternal, the glow of spring, and unbroken thicket the swift, the heart of autumn. I've not encountered those two.
I am unable to answer that question.
Do you not have that information in your database, or am I restricted?
That information of their whereabouts is not in my databanks.
The city, it seems quite apparent to me that this entire place is the result of artifacts stolen from the gods. I think even you might be a remnant of the gods themselves.
You don't seem to get any answer back from City.
Perhaps we can discuss this another time. City, what is my current threat level?
Your threat level is 8.
Okay. I'm glad to see it has not increased. Thank you for your assistance. And Milkvista will stop asking prying questions then.
Okay.
I do want to make note of one thing she said. The ruminant who's responsible for the city being built and for city coming online. She was a mortal who had to give up her brain as part of a biological component to make all of this work, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I don't know if you ever gave us that name.
No.
Because I'm going through my notes and I don't see it.
No, you have. I've not given you that ruminant's name yet, because
Okay.
I will be honest. I didn't think you would ask those questions to learn that information. So it was kind of a name floating in the cloud type thing.
Well, city's obviously not going to give me any direct answers, but I'm still speculating that city is one of the ruminant gods. Because it would make sense for something of a god's intellect and awareness to be able to run a massive operation like this. Um, but if there's an actual literal brain hooked up to the system, then we're either dealing with a incredibly clever ruminant, or perhaps one of the gods took mortal form, which they can do, and then gave their mortal brain over to the city.
I'm more thinking the formal because I'm just thinking like, well, now if it's a brain, this is just what you call it, the city builder or whatever, city sim.
Yeah,
You know,
but
it's just-
we're dealing with a civilization of creatures who stole from their gods, right?
I mean, yeah, but like not everything is stolen from them, so they're just very smart and crafted their own stuff as well. That eventually, defied the gods, and they didn't have their gods didn't smack them like our gods did.
Well, Hand of Winter, the one who set us on this path to begin with, she took great umbrage with what took place. She made the ever freeze forest, eternal winter for thousands of years, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
And that was after what they had done to Blade the Clever. I don't know if she did. I don't know if she did it immediately after it happened, or if it happened after they left or whatever. But
I'm assuming that happened after they left.
so that's two of the four gods accounted for.
Mhm.
We've not seen Hair or Tail, Full Bloom the Maternal, or Unbroken Thicket the Swift.
Right.
I think they're here, right?
Yeah, I understand what you think, but we have no real evidence of that.
The
Uh,
the thing is, I've been trying to figure this mystery out going on almost 3 years now, trying to piece all this together. And I haven't gotten any solid answers up to this very second. So I'm trying to figure this mystery out as best I can.
I mean, don't forget that sometimes gods just kind of fade out, and they need mortals to worship them to live for the most part.
Yep.
And
That is something else you have learned in the past with Leshtata, bringing her back and everything.
Well, with Leshtata, she faded, but she didn't exactly die.
No.
but with the others, they might be faded like her.
Yeah, and it required something for her to come back. It could require something similar for the others.
Okay, so that's certainly possible.
Yeah, I'm not trying to poo-poo your entire theory, but
Right.
just
So
looking at other things.
I know I'm probably grasping at straws here, but I think the spring god, Full Bloom the Maternal, the Dove Spring, is city, and it's in the name the maternal. The mother figure, the one who looks out for everything, runs everything, and city for all intents and purposes, she's like patiently guiding people to where they're supposed to be. Like I could have just been immediately executed on the spot for attempted treason. But City is like, no, I'm just going to put you up to level 9, give you a stern warning, and re-educate you, which is something a mother would do.
But also, City could just be programmed that way too.
If it is just a straight up computer program, sure, but I don't think so. She's acting with a certain level of autonomy that I've not seen a natural AI progress towards. They're usually programmed that way.
That like we're also in the world where you know well we're advanced that more than ourselves right now in IRL. So
Yeah, yeah, they've got floating cities and they can basically make anything they want out of thin air pretty much with enough power.
Uh,
so yeah, just going by what we can do as a civilization doesn't automatically mean what they can do.
I get that.
But I get everything you're saying. If you
Yeah.
can, there is a mystery here. If you can work it out, good. But it's probably not going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
None of this has been easy. Still, this is one of the most difficult puzzles I've ever had to deal with.
You, mainly you've come into it, and you guys got some high threat levels, and you the city isn't as open to outsiders. You have to earn your trust.
Mm-hmm. And sadly, to do that, we'll need to stay here for possibly millions of years. So yeah, I'm afraid we're gonna have to probably take AL somewhere here.
But earning the city's trust is probably not a very AI way of looking at it, because computers tend to be very logical. It's the only thing I will say.
I mean, realistically, am I chasing after a side quest I'm never going to complete? I'm asking.
I mean, it depends what you are hoping to achieve from it, really.
Well, what I'm hoping to achieve is restore the ruminant and restore the ruminant god so everything can be brought back to balance where it's supposed to be. But at the same time, we might not have the time or the ability to do that, so escaping is more prudent. But if we do manage to escape from this place, we can bring something from this place with us
Mm-hmm.
and attune it to a fork so that way we know how to get back.
This is true.
Yeah.
So,
We're probably gonna have our tablets.
so maybe that's the answer. Maybe just maybe it's a prologue mission. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to go about it. Is after once the world is saved and stuff, then we can worry about that.
I mean, your primary goal is to save the world, not necessarily save the ruminant.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, I guess as long as we purify the Staglord's heart and at least restore him, if he can come to his senses and be willing to speak with mortals again, then we can let him know it's like, hey, we know where your stuff is,
Yeah.
and we know how to get to it.
I mean, that's always a possible route to go down. I mean,
Okay.
you were given the job by Hint of Winter to either restrain or heal the Stag Lord.
So I wonder once we do that if she'll immediately take her mythic powers back.
Probably. Because you were told that you were given them for that task.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So in that case, since we'll likely have a means of coming back, I'll leave this mystery on the back burner.
I mean, by all means, if you see an opportunity to poke things, poke things. There is a mystery there, but you might not obviously just get the straight answer of, oh yes, you're correct, or oh yes, you're wrong.
Well, Jim, I'll go ahead and tell you what I was planning before. So the whole question about overclocking the fabricator, I was wondering if it were possible to create a teleportation circle large enough to encompass the entire city and bring the entire city back to the material plane.
I was wondering if it was going to be something like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, technically, long term, you probably could. But common sense will probably kick in of the city probably already has something like that built in, given that it had to get here in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Because there's definitely been a lot of eavesdropping and stuff like that it was on the material plane beforehand.
Right, right. That was already revealed to us. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that's already built into the city, then that might be worth pursuing.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to fabricate a smaller teleporter, find out where the teleporter is for the entire city and teleport it back.
I will point out that you would have to try and work out how to use that device, but you don't even know of its existence or not.
Well, like you said, and the teacher we spoke with who discussed the history of the city, she did say that the city was teleported from the material plane to here.
Yeah.
In fact, she even gave us dates for it, I believe.
Yeah.
Let me scroll up too far.
I
Okay,
think,
so yeah, starting population 25, current population over 5,000. Last recorded birth 6M144T400U. First day the city was on the material plane 6M144T461U. So, however long ago that was, but it was once on the material plane and teleported here. So if it's built into the city, we could use it if we figured out how to operate it, of course.
yeah.
But if we're able to get the elder's voice and gain access to the restricted areas, we might be able to work that out.
It's all entirely possible. Sorry, I just removed a ridiculously huge spider.
Oh, nice. I had a tarantula in my house a few weeks ago. Yeah. There's a tarantula called a Texas brown. They're not exceptionally big, but they're able to like fit inside the palm of your hand big. And this one was a tiny little baby, but it walked with that like long leg, stretchy, one step at a time walk that tarantulas have.
Oh yeah.
And so I was able to scoop it up in a plastic cup and take it outside by a creek and let it go.
Yeah, I hope no one has arachnophobia here.
Thankfully, I don't, and my girlfriend doesn't either. She actually used to have a pet spider.
I mean, the people listening, if they are.
Anyway.
Oh, I'm sure it's fine.
But yeah. So that bit you should be able to work out with based on the information you have been given.
Okay, so all right, so obviously our main focus needs to be on purify the heart and escape. Those are the two primary things we need to do. And then, of course, get enough diamond dust to resurrect
Katarina.
Katarina, thank you. But if possible, if we're able to get the recording of the Elder's voice and gain access to these highly restricted areas, I would like to pursue the mystery of who City is and especially whose brain was used to activate City. And if we can figure out how to use the teleport and move the whole city back, that would be awesome.
I think at that point we'd be out of the plane that would matter.
Yeah, we'll be back on the material plane now. Of course, the catch is going to be 180,000 feet off the ground, and I believe the city teleported from the ground. It didn't levitate initially.
That bit you have not has not been shared with you,
Yep.
or you have not
So we-
acquired.
So it may be in like in those instances of Warhammer 40K when you teleport into something and your atoms get all scrambled up. We want to try to avoid that.
Well, I mean, the teleporter that the junk one that seems to have worked fine because people came back from that. So they didn't teleport and then splat.
This is true.
And that was just a single individual, and we're looking at teleporting an entire city with multiple tiers of levels.
Well, we're looking at teleporting our group.
I think we should consider teleporting the city. They get to keep their city, but they get to answer for their sins. It's a win-win.
Yes, but I'm still just saying, like, that's a grander plan than I think we can currently realistically go about at this moment.
I'm saying if the opportunity is there, we should.
Yes, if the opportunity is there, sure, but
All
if
right.
not, I think the smaller scale should be what we, go for.
Alexandrite agrees my plan is brilliant.
I heard
All
was
right.
we'll do the small plan, but if the big plan becomes available, take the big plan.
Yes. Fortune favors the bold.
I mean, he did say that earlier.
But realistically, tongue in cheek aside, yeah, we'll play it safe if we must. But if we have the opportunity to do something amazing, I want to.
Yeah. Like with the teleporter we have, we don't need to actually do a whole lot. We just step on it and it teleports us. From what I know, the big plan sounds like we need to activate computers and stuff that we don't know how they work.
But we'll discover how they work.
Potentially.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna speak our desires into manifestation.
I mean, I can. Well, I can think of a way you could do it, but I don't think you would think of it. I mean, you could stumble into it, but that one probably won't breed success.
See, we gather all the Dragon Balls and then wish for the city to come back.
Wish is a divination spell. It's not going to work that easily.
I was thinking without spells. Well, technically. Anyway, what's the time? It is that.
It is about 4 now, so.
Yeah, so it sounds like next session we're going to do the meeting with Swift Victory and potentially the Elder and see where that goes. Then Alex will do his little trying to steal some armor, let a few other people know what's going on, and then attempt to potentially after that storm the city or attack the at least where your equipment is and potentially escape.
We should get our hearts examined first before we do that, because we still haven't officially got those fixed.
Yes, this is very true.
So we probably should do that part first, if anything, because if the other plans don't happen and, Alexandrite's caught trying to steal armor, zap.
Okay, so you want to do the fix your heart first before you steal armor. Understood.
Yeah, I think that's probably looking at this hindsight, it's like, oh yeah, we should probably take care of that first.
Okay, no, that's fine. That is acceptable. a few extra bracket days won't kill you.
Yeah.
Or will it? Or will it kill?
Well, I mean,
who knows?
if we don't have the heart thing, then it won't kill us.
Or will it kill lightning? Dun dun dun.
Yeah, that's what I'm more concerned about.
You'll find out what's going on in the material plane if you get back there.
Yeah. I don't know if Milk was there for that, but Alexander was heavily considered going through the teleporter himself.
I figured you would, yeah. Let's see.
I was really hoping you wouldn't, because it'd be like, okay, right, so we're going to... you're going to sit here and not do anything for a little bit, and then we'll do a lot bit with you going back and see what happens. Because
that would have been perfect when I didn't have a computer.
yeah, if you disappeared for a while, would have been fine. But no, it's.
You remember when Milk Thistle used plane shifts during his fight with Nightshine, and I basically had to sit out 3 sessions?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be something like that for you.
Probably a bit longer.
Yeah.
Because depending on how long it takes them to escape the city, or if they ever escape the city, then we might have to do a solo quest for you to try and save the world.
Yeah.
And die trying.
Alexander would probably sacrifice his life if it meant saving the world.
You probably sacrifice your life. Probably not the last bit, because the main key you need is stuck here.
Oh no! Okay, Alexandrite, plays a long game, turns traitor, and then tells the Ruminant not Neverwinter. Fuck, I forgot his name now. It's the Stag Lord, where the heart is.
That could make an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we will end session here, and we might have one more of planning. Though I do want to give Metal Banana some spotlights for her to what was it? Well, basically have a look, search underground and stuff like that to help work out various things in regards to the tunnel system.
Yeah.
And Burnt will have a bit where he can play his dad, and then it will be the last little bits of setup.
Yeah, we should probably let him know that he's probably going to be playing his dad in this important meeting with the elder.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, well, I'm going to stop the recording now.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next time on the End Times. Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.
See you.